Carnivorous plants are awesome. I don't think I have to sell you on that. If you've ever seen a Venus flytrap, you already know that they are one of the most interesting groups of plants. And Venus flytraps are not even the most interesting. It gets even crazier. In this video, I want to talk about carnivorous plants. Why do they exist, and how do they catch their prey? Let's get into it. Most plants gather their food from a process called photosynthesis. However, some plants like to eat bugs, which is quite unsettling. These plants are known as carnivorous plants, and there are 583 known species, and that number goes up every year as more are discovered. Now, the next question is, why? Why nature? Why do these exist? To answer that, I need to explain photosynthesis. Most plants use this process to generate food. I am going to oversimplify this, but essentially sunlight hits a plant. The plant uses that sunlight to synthesize food from carbon dioxide, minerals, and water. The byproduct of this process is oxygen, which is what we breathe, unless you're some alien life form watching this video. Photosynthesis usually needs good soil and abundant sunlight. So what happens when a plant has neither or one or the other? Well, they adapt. Carnivorous plants adapted to get their nutrients from bugs rather than the soil. However, contrary to many beliefs, carnivorous plants do use photosynthesis for energy. They just eat insects for nutrients since they usually grow in places with bad soil. And if you're in a smelly, nasty, disgusting, awful place with bad soil, there's usually going to be a lot of bugs. Kind of like my backyard currently. So, that is why they exist. With that out of the way, let's look at some of the weirdest ones. Now, my favorite is of course the Venus flytrap. I think most people in the US are familiar with this plant. You see them in most garden stores during certain times of the year. However, did you know they are possibly endangered? The Venus flytrap is only found in the Carolinas, aka the states of North and South Carolina in the United States, and it's believed their wild population is on the verge of being endangered. The reason it's called a Venus flytrap is because it's named after the Roman goddess Venus, the goddess of love, and the flytrap attracts its prey using its nectar. The fly lands, it gets stuck in the sticky substance, and then it tries to get free. When it does that, it may bump one of the hairs of the trap, which triggers the trap to begin closing. Once closed, enzymes are released that begin to dissolve the fly. I'm melting! Then it is digested. After about 10 days, the trap opens again and the nightmare continues. Ah, nature. You're fucking terrifying. Yet I said in the intro that there are carnivorous plants even crazier than this. For example, the largest one on planet Earth, sorry aliens, the Nepenthes raja, uncommonly known by its common name, Raja Brooks pitcher plant. This plant is endangered, only being found in higher altitudes on the island of Borneo. The plant can get up to 40 centimeters, 15 inches, high, and 20 centimeters, 7 inches, for you Americans out there, wide. To visualize, it's about as tall as your forearm. Now, as for how it catches bugs, I'm going to generalize because while pitcher plants vary across the board, their method of catching prey is pretty similar across the board. Pitcher plants lure prey with pigments or nectar, like the Venus flytrap does. The rim of the pitcher is often very slippery due to this nectar, or water drops, and the bug slips and falls in. The walls of the pitcher are usually also very waxy, so that bug is essentially SOL. The bug then drowns in the water collected within this pitcher plant, and then it's broken down. This varies depending on species. Some have their own enzymes. Others rely on bacteria to break it down for them. Then they digest it and on to the next one. Now, sundews are also really cool because they look like little tentacles capturing their prey. Sundews are like the krakens of the insect world.
Release the kraken!
Sundews also have the largest family within the larger group of carnivorous plants with 194 species. I want to look specifically at the Cape sundew for a minute. They, like the others we talked about, secrete a nice smelling substance. The insect land on it, and that's when the tentacles get to work. The red hairs begin to close in first. As it does this, it brings the insect into its digestive glands. Then the tentacles curl in, and the red hairs close in tighter. The insect is then digested, and the nutrients get absorbed into those red hairs. To wrap this up, there are 583 species of carnivorous plants. Hey, sorry to cut in, Brendan here. So while doing my fact check, I realized that this number varies a lot. Some say 583, some say 630, some say all the way up to 700. So can't be 100% sure how many there are, just know that there are a lot of them. As much as I love nature, and especially these plants, I don't think I can ever fit all of them into one video. However, I hope that you learned something about how these plants work and their various mechanisms. If you did, feel free to leave a like and sub for more. I honestly love seeing the channel grow, and seeing people enjoying the content is one of the highlights of my day. Until next time, take care. And for the aliens out there, beep boop, boop beep. You know what that means.